My neighbor called at 5:47 a.m. and said, "Don't go to work today. Just trust me." I ignored her. When I arrived, the police were everywhere. 3 people had died from toxic gas. Security footage showed someone who looked exactly like me releasing it. But I hadn't spoken to my neighbor since the night my daughter disappeared 6 months ago. Jeffrey rushed through his chaotic morning routine. His wife slept in the guest room. They hadn't shared a bed in 6 months. Emma's bedroom door stayed closed. 6 months since she went missing, and nothing inside the house had moved on. The phone rang. Caller ID showed an unknown number. Jeffrey almost didn't answer. When he picked up, he heard a female voice, calm, too calm. "Don't go to work today, just trust me." "What? Who is—" "You're scheduled to open the security office this morning. There's an executive meeting. Don't go." Jeffrey's blood ran cold. How did she know both details? "Claire, please, just this once. Trust me." The line went dead. Jeffrey looked out the window. Claire stood in her driveway, phone still to her ear, staring directly at his house. His wife came behind him, shaken. "Why would she call you?" He didn't answer. He grabbed his keys and left. Jeffrey pulled into RideFlow's parking lot to meet chaos. Police tape, ambulances with flashing lights, co-workers on stretchers, coughing, shaking. A body bag rolled past him. Someone nearby sobbed. "They're dead, all of them." An officer shouted, "No one enters." Jeffrey stepped forward. "I work here. What happened?" "Step back, sir. I'm supposed to open the building." The officer's radio crackled. "We have confirmation. Jeffrey Hart, operations supervisor." The officer looked at him differently. "Sir, come with me." The officer took him to an interview room. A detective slid a laptop across the table. 3 people are dead. A safety system activated in the wrong room. Everyone inside suffocated before anyone noticed. Jeffrey swallowed hard. "You were scheduled to arrive early. Why didn't you?" I got a call. Someone told me not to come." "Who?" Jeffrey hesitated. "My neighbor, Claire Novak." The detectives exchanged a look, then turned the laptop toward Jeffrey. "Explain this." Security footage played. A masked figure walked through a restricted corridor. Same height as Jeffrey, same build, same walk. The figure swiped a keycard at the access panel. The screen read, "Jeffrey Hart, authorized access." Jeffrey's mouth went dry. "That's not me. But your credentials were used, and you weren't here when everyone else was. I don't know how that's possible. My keycard is—" He reached for his wallet. His keycard was there. "Keycards can be cloned," the detective said. "But the way he walks, that's harder to fake. You're being released pending further investigation. Your phone stays on. Your location stays on." Jeffrey sat in his car, shaking. He pulled out his phone, found Claire's old number, and called. No answer. Then he drove to her house. Claire waited on her porch. Calm. Almost serene. Jeffrey shouted, "What the hell did you do? I saved your life. 3 people are dead. The police think I did it." "I know." Jeffrey froze. "You knew. You knew they'd suspect me." Claire stood. "I didn't mean for that. But it doesn't matter now." "Doesn't matter. I could go to prison for murder." "You won't, because you're going to help me finish this." "Finish what?" Claire stepped closer. "The executive who died today kept files, evidence of every crime RideFlow has ever committed, and proof of what they did to your daughter." Jeffrey's world tilted. His voice was barely a whisper. "Emma? Yes, it's locked in the archive. Only 3 people have access. The executive is dead. Carlos is dying. You're the only one left." "Why are you doing this?" "Because they killed my husband, and when your daughter discovered something she shouldn't have, they took her." "You murdered 3 people," he exclaimed, still in shock. "I killed the ones responsible. The others were collateral damage, just like my husband and Emma were to them. You're insane. No, I'm the only one who cared enough to do something. She turned to go inside. Why should I believe you? Claire spoke over her shoulder. Because 3 years ago, before my husband's death, you saw the evidence. You knew something was wrong, and you stayed quiet. Jeffrey's voice rose. I didn't stay quiet. I escalated the issue to management. Then I received an anonymous message with my wife's exact location and activity. They had eyes monitoring my family. Claire stopped and turned back. Her voice was ice. And so you let them take Emma. Jeffrey's composure cracked. I went to the police every week, he said. I handed over everything I had. They said they were doing everything they could and would inform me once they had a lead about her whereabouts. What else was I supposed to do? Claire stared at him, unblinking. What I did. Fight back harder. Jeffrey swallowed. I couldn't just break in. I don't have the access codes to RideFlow's classified information. Claire stepped closer. You could, then handed him a USB drive. Everything you need is on here. The access codes, too. You have 2 days before they arrest you. The door closed behind her. Jeffrey didn't go home. He drove back to RideFlow in search of answers. His face scan barely worked. The system flagged him 30 seconds before lockout. Inside, he plugged in Claire's drive and entered her access codes. He searched for Claire's husband on the company's database, Michael Novak. Results loaded. He had been the operations analyst at RideFlow. When he raised concerns about illegal operations 3 years ago, he got fired. He was found dead 3 months later. Jeffrey kept searching. Emma Hart. He saw a handwritten note that stopped his heart. Emma Hart, age 9, reported vehicles outside her home every night. Exhaust coming into bedroom makes her cough. Said she'd tell father. Jeffrey's vision blurred. Emma had asked him 7 months ago. Daddy, why do your work cars sit outside all night? The smell comes in my window and makes me cough. He'd barely looked up. That's not my department, sweetheart. Talk to Mom if you're not feeling well. She'd nodded and walked away. 2 weeks later, she disappeared. Jeffrey's hands trembled. He opened the next search result, a video time-stamped 6 months ago. A windowless room. Emma at a table, crying. The executive's voice came from off-camera. You can't tell people about the cars, sweetheart, Emma sobbed. But my daddy works there. He'll stop it. Your daddy knows about the cars. He's smart. He knows when to stay quiet. Emma shook her head. I want my daddy. Jeffrey couldn't watch the rest. He kept digging through the evidence. He saw an email. Hart Minor escalating concerns, followed by approved, contain quietly. More files loaded, years of illegal operations, dozens of safety and health reports that had been tagged problems and were resolved by the company. Then he opened the final document, a list titled Containment Actions, Approved. Emma's name was 6th from the top. Michael Novak's name was 3 above hers. Jeffrey collapsed against the wall. He copied everything. He drove to the FBI field office, but stayed in his car. The drives sat in his lap. His hands wouldn't stop shaking. He thought about Emma's face in that video. He thought about the 3 people Claire had killed. He thought about what staying silent had already cost him. Then he got out of the car. Agent Reynolds watched the first video in silence. His jaw tightened. He watched the second, the third. When he finally looked up, his face was grim. This is enough to bury them. But you know they'll come after you. Jeffrey's voice was steady. I don't care. Find my daughter. Reynolds nodded slowly. We'll start immediately. 2 days later, the news broke. Jeffrey watched from his living room as anchors reported the story. Federal investigation launched into RideFlow logistics, multiple executives under scrutiny, allegations of corporate misconduct dating back years. RideFlow's stock plummeted. Corporate lawyers released statements claiming the allegations were completely fabricated. Jeffrey's phone rang. His lawyer's voice was tense. "They're building a case against you, accessory to murder. Your credentials were used. You waited to report. They're saying you and Claire planned this together. You need to prepare. This is going to move fast." 1 week later, police arrived at his house. His wife watched from the doorway, her face unreadable. "Jeffrey Hart, you're under arrest for accessory to murder, obstruction of justice, and conspiracy." Jeffrey didn't resist. He let them cuff him. As they led him to the patrol car, he looked back once. His wife stood motionless. She didn't wave goodbye. He moved through everything mechanically. Prison intake, fingerprints, mugshot, orange jumpsuit. The trial came fast. The prosecution showed his promotion history, his salary increases, his silence over 3 years. Ladies and gentlemen, Jeffrey Hart knew. He knew about the illegal operations. He knew about the cover-ups. And when his accomplice murdered 3 innocent people, he waited. He calculated. He extracted what he needed. And only then did he report. This isn't heroism. This is conspiracy. The defense tried, but the evidence was overwhelming. Guilty on all counts. 12 years. 2 weeks into his sentence, a guard came to Jeffrey's cell. "You have a visitor." Jeffrey was led to a private room. A lawyer sat across from him. "I'm not here about your case. I'm here because Claire Novak is in critical condition," she said. Jeffrey's expression didn't change. "She was shot 3 days ago. She's barely alive. They don't think she'll make it through the night." Jeffrey's jaw tightened. "Before she collapsed, she went live." Jeffrey's eyes closed. "What do you mean?" The lawyer pulled out a tablet and turned it toward him. "You need to see this." The video started. Claire sat on a concrete floor in a windowless room. It looked like a hideout. Exposed pipes ran along the ceiling. A single bulb swung above her, flickering. She was pale, weak. Blood soaked through the left side of her shirt. A phone was propped against a metal crate, its camera angled slightly upward like she'd set it in a hurry. "My name is Claire Novak. 2 weeks ago, I killed 3 people at RideFlow Logistics. I'm not asking for forgiveness. I'm recording this so everyone sees whatever happens next." Claire's hands moved across a laptop. Files appeared on screen behind her. Documents, emails, video footage. Emma's face appeared. "These are the people who killed my husband, who took Emma Hart, who've been killing people quietly for years." She held up a piece of paper. An address was written in large letters. "And this is where they're keeping her." The sound of footsteps echoed from somewhere beyond the camera. Heavy. Multiple people. Claire kept her focus on the camera. "My husband's name was Michael. He tried to do the right thing. They destroyed him for it." A door slammed open somewhere off camera as rapid footsteps approached her. Claire's eyes widened slightly. She looked at the camera one last time. "Emma Hart deserves to go home." A gunshot cracked through the audio. Claire's body jerked backward. Blood bloomed across her shoulder. Another shot. She collapsed against the wall, sliding down. The phone stayed upright, still streaming. Claire's hand reached toward the laptop, trembling, making sure the upload bar showed 100%. Male voices spoke urgently, off camera. "She's streaming. It's live. Shut it down. Shut it down." The sound of scrambling footsteps followed. A door slammed. Then distant sirens grew louder, getting closer fast. The men's voices panicked. "Go! Now!" The scrambling increased, followed by another door slam. The sirens grew deafening. Claire lay against the wall, breathing shallow, eyes half closed. Blood pooled beneath her. The stream continued. 43 seconds later, police burst in. "Suspect down. We need medical now." An officer knelt beside Claire, applying pressure to her wounds. "Stay with us. Stay with us." Claire's lips moved, barely audible. The officer leaned closer. The feed went black. The lawyer's voice pulled Jeffrey back to the present. It went viral in under an hour. 20 million views in the first day. Jeffrey couldn't speak. "She's in critical condition. The doctors don't know if she'll wake up, but she's still alive. Some say it'll take time, but she'll survive." Jeffrey exhaled slowly. He was led back to the common area. Other inmates were gathered around the television. A news anchor spoke urgently. Disturbing footage circulating online shows a woman claiming responsibility for last week's RideFlow deaths. She was shot moments after providing coordinates for what she claimed was a hostage location. "Authorities are responding now." The feed switched to live footage. FBI tactical vehicles, flashing lights, a warehouse surrounded. Agents in tactical gear stormed the entrance. An inmate near Jeffrey muttered, "Holy shit, they're really doing it." The camera stayed on the warehouse. Minutes passed, then agents emerged. One of them carried a small figure wrapped in a blanket. The news anchor's voice cracked slightly. "We're getting confirmation now. The child has been found alive. Repeat, the child identified as Emma Hart has been found alive and is being transported to a medical facility." Jeffrey's legs gave out. He sank to the floor. Around him, inmates stared at the screen without speaking. One of them looked down at Jeffrey. "That your kid?" Jeffrey nodded, unable to speak. The inmate said nothing more, just stood there, a silent witness. 2 weeks later, the lawyer returned. "She's been arrested. They're charging her with 3 counts of murder, conspiracy, and terrorism." The lawyer paused. "But something's happening." The public response to her live stream. "It's unprecedented. Protests outside the courthouse, petitions with millions of signatures. People are calling her a whistleblower, not a murderer." And my case? The live stream changed everything. Public pressure forced the DA to review your charges. They're dropping the murder conspiracy. "And Emma," the lawyer hesitated, "she's stable, physically, emotionally. She's been through something no child should survive." "Can I see her?" "Not yet, but soon." 2 weeks later, Jeffrey walked out of prison. No press, no cameras, just his lawyer waiting by a car. "Ready?" she asked. "Where is she?" "Medical facility, 20 minutes from here." They drove without speaking. A social worker led Jeffrey through sterile hallways. "She's been asking about you, but she's fragile. Don't expect her to be the same child you remember." "I understand." The social worker stopped at a door. "Take your time." She opened it and stepped aside. Emma sat on a hospital bed, small, thin, hair shorter than he remembered. She looked up. For a long moment, neither moved. Then Emma's voice came out barely above a whisper. "I told them you'd come." Jeffrey's composure shattered. He crossed the room and knelt beside the bed. "I'm sorry. I'm so sorry." Emma reached for him, her small arms wrapped around his neck. They held each other. No words, just the sound of Jeffrey crying. And Emma, holding on like she'd never let go. The federal investigation into RideFlow took over a year. What they found was worse than anyone imagined. Systematic poisoning of low-income neighborhoods through deliberate exhaust emissions. 47 deaths traced directly to the company's operations. Over 200 people with permanent health damage. Internal documents showing executives knew for 15 years. Children's names on containment lists. Families paid off. Threatened. Silenced. Michael Novak wasn't the first whistleblower they'd killed. He was the 7th. Claire's trial became a media firestorm. The prosecution argued murder, terrorism, and vigilante justice. The defense argued necessity, justified resistance, and whistleblower protection. Legal experts debated on every news channel. Protests surrounded the courthouse daily with signs reading, "Claire is a hero," and "She saved lives." Counter-protesters held signs saying, "Murder is murder," and "Three families destroyed." The jury deliberated for 11 days. Guilty on all counts. Sentencing, 3 consecutive life sentences. But the story didn't end there. As more evidence emerged from the federal investigation, public pressure mounted. Senators called for clemency hearings. Human rights organizations filed briefs. The families of RideFlow's victims, 47 of them, signed a public letter supporting Claire's pardon. "She did what the system refused to do," they wrote. "She stopped them when no one else would." Even 2 of the 3 victim families, the ones Claire had killed, eventually came forward. One gave a tearful interview. "I don't forgive her, but I understand. The people who died, my brother included, they knew. They knew what RideFlow was doing. They chose money over lives." 6 months after sentencing, the governor granted Claire a full pardon. The 3 murder convictions were vacated. She walked out of prison to a crowd of thousands, some cheering, some protesting. Claire said nothing to the press. She simply walked to a waiting car and disappeared. People ask if it was worth it, if 3 lives was a fair trade for saving my daughter. I still don't know. If you were in my shoes, what would you do? Let me know in the comments.